Beauty and
Mhm.
the Beast. It's 3 minutes past 11 o'clock, and you are welcome to the station that loves music and loves life. Importantly, you're welcome to the show that talks about movies, about series, about animations, about everything you can watch on your device or your TV screen. This is Film Focus on Smooth 98.1. Good. Life loves movies. Yes, this is Smooth 98.1. And you know I'm always excited every Friday from 11 till 11:55 to discuss movies, animation series, TV shows, and anything that can take you away from the reality of adult life just for some hours. I came across a pic yesterday, and the person said, "This is the face of someone who has to get back to reality after they're done watching a very good movie." And I know you recognize that feeling, especially when the movie is so good and now you have to leave the movie and go back to the real world. Well, here we give you recommendations, we review movies as well. We take your thought, your input, your take on whatever movies or series or animations you've seen. And on some days, I do it alone. On other days, like today, I am not doing it alone. I am excited to have the company of a man who has been away for so long. From Film Focus, that is. If you listen to Grapevine on Thursdays, you would have heard his voice, you would have seen his face on YouTube. But he ran away from Film Focus, and I had to run after him. If you ever watched the movie Yemi, My Lover, you remember the running scene where they were running after each other. Wait. Up for the man all the way from the state I will never stop calling. That is Edo States. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only film critic, movie buff, and an enthusiast of all things good and delightful. The one, the only, Oris.
I have to applaud. I have to applaud it. I'm actually applauding you because I'm not sure who that guy is, but I like the guy. Hi, Shio. Yeah, and good morning. Yes, Lagos, and good morning from wherever you're hearing us from. I am back indeed, as Shio has said. Sadly, I had to be away for a bit, but it wasn't intentional. This madam makes it look like, you know what, I decided to just run away, but no, I had to go and let's just put it this way, I had to go and make a living. But yes, I am back. I'm back. I'm back.
Actually, you should give us a gist, an overview of what you've been about. I think I was only able to have an idea or sniff some of the things you've been up from pints, if you know what I mean, to risky games, to drinks, and to the cold weather, wherever it is that you went to, and movies as well as appearances. So what
Uh,
have you been up to, Oris?
okay, yeah. Okay, so initially what happened was this. I traveled for the Sundance Film Festival. This was in late January. So I think that lasted on it's a 10-day festival. So I think it ended early February, I think if I remember. I can't remember all the dates now. What I was going to do, like, it's so difficult to get a visa to the US, anyway, to anywhere if you're Nigerian these days. So I decided that rather than just spend 10 days in the US, why not extend it by another week? But as life would have it, I went to see my sister who is in Texas. And on the very first day I arrived at her place, she told me she was getting married. Imagine
No way.
that. True story.
No way.
True story. So there I was with my plan to spend, I think, about 3 weeks in the US. And then suddenly she says that our wedding is in another 3 weeks. Anyway, long and short, that's how I managed to spend 2 months in the US. Totally out of my hands. So I had to cancel the flights and then, like, shift it for that. So anyway, yeah, that's the entire story. I went for a film festival and then I went to my sister's wedding and then I showed up 2 months later. That's it.
That sounds like a movie. I don't know if I've watched that movie
Right?
before, but I think I'd watch a movie like that.
But yeah, that's the true story. You know, I could say something more fancy, but really that's exactly what happened. I had no plans. I was going to just be in the US for 3 weeks. And then lo and behold, because of my sister's decision making and her silence, you know how it is sometimes in Nigeria. They're like, don't tell anybody we are doing something big because of the evil eye. You know how some families can be. So apparently my family is like that, and I had no idea. So
Wow.
anyway, yeah, so that's what happened actually. But yes, like I said, I have finally been let go from the US and now I'm back in Nigeria.
Welcome back to the land of, I almost wanted to say no return. No,
Please,
that's
please,
not
please,
correct.
please, please. No, I'm traveling again next month, by the way. But this is the land of chaos, I think.
Oh, dear. Talk now.
Oh,
Can you
how
hear
we
me?
frozen? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so you were saying you were traveling next week.
No, no, not next week, next month. The Cannes Film
Oh,
Festival, which is probably the biggest festival in the world, yeah. So I am going for that next month. So yeah, I'll be away again for I don't know 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Let's hope my sister in Europe doesn't get married.
okay. And hopefully one of these days you show up and we say, oh, wow, Oris, it's been a while that you've been away. And then you tell us, oh, sorry, I've been away because I've been planning my own wedding.
So that's another debate response. I forgive you. I forgive you,
I'm just
Shio.
saying,
I'll let that slide.
I am a potential Nigerian mother. I need to practice. I need to practice.
Oh well.
Oh, with us. Let me see if I can quickly save the internet.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's mine or yours.
Hopefully, I don't have to use my internet.
Yeah, so but is it your do you know if it's your internet issue or mine? I'm not quite sure because mine looks almost perfect from the bars I see here.
It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. But I
Oh,
think it's fine now. It's fine now.
okay. Okay. Fingers crossed on that one, I guess.
Right.
So Sheil, see, tell your listeners that anybody interested in Miami should send in the applications to Smooth FM. Since you are trying since you are trying to shame me on air.
We are saying that on air. Oh my days. You and Durable, we are eventually going to auction both of you. You are both,
Auction.
well, you're
Wow.
both from Benin. No, you're from Esa. We're going to auction both of you. I have come to the conclusion. Some shall be given in marriage, some shall be dashed in marriage.
Wow. Wow.
Call it
Anyway,
a
please,
category of
whatever the figure, let us share the money, sure.
what? Oh my. It's Film Focus on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun, and it's Smooth 98.1. We discuss movies, series, animations, and everything lovely on Fridays from 11 till 11:50. And you can send in your WhatsApp message if you have any, especially if you're a part of the WhatsApp family. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp line. If you're sending a message for the first time, please let your name come alongside your message, especially again if it's for the first time. So 0809 444 0981. I have my guest. He's not a guest, he's a paddy, right? I have my analyst this morning, and that is Oris, who's joining me via Zoom. And I have some messages on WhatsApp as well. Chidozie says, with all that hype and introduction, Oga Oris, please write off that debt Auntie Shenwen is owing you. She don't use style beg. She don't try. What debt am I owing him?
Apparently, they cannot believe that you are giving me all of that hype for free. That definitely are owing me money. So it is in yes. So that's why
Nice
they are.
one.
So that's why it's true. And Chigozie, you are entirely correct. She's owing me quite a bit actually, but I'm not writing it off. It's not enough. I need my money.
Oh, wow. Okay. Saint Fajo says Irab's 1 billion shall give us movie update for the weekend. No, it's not Irabo. It is Oris. Do you sound alike? I don't know if both of you sound alike, but I know what both of you share in common is your singlehood. And I said it behind the scenes. I'm going to say it again. So we need to auction Irabo and Oris. Right now, I have Oris. Oris went to his sister's wedding. He probably will go to another sister's wedding, and we are not even sure when he's going to get married. So please, if you're interested in Oris, 6 foot, sound mind, loves movies, intelligent, travels all around the world, has great taste. What else? Are you a basketballer? Someone is
No,
asking.
that's not me.
Okay, Rabbi is a basketballer. I don't know. He loves movies. Of course, you know that. Great taste. Yeah, so you can send your CV or your resume, whatever it is.
Female only. I think we have to be very specific about that these days.
What? Females only?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, females only. Biological females only. We
Thank
need to
you,
include
thank you,
that.
thank you, thank you, thank you. You heard what happened at the movie premiere weeks ago, right?
Oh, we talked about it at length.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, fair.
Yeah. Anyways, so you can send your CV to him. We'll give you the channel to send. But in the meantime, you can send your CV to WhatsApp. We'll take it and forward it to him. We need to auction the 2 gentlemen, eligible bachelors for donkey years. And we can't just pull that
Oh,
out
okay.
and let that happen. I mean, we
This
care
is
about
highly
these
unfair.
men. Yeah. Reminds me of something I remembered in watching Bob Loves Art Abishola, but I'm not going to say it. Okay, I
We
will say it.
appreciate your silence. Thank you very much, Sean.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to say it. Okay, I won't say it. Anyways, so let's talk about what you've been watching and what you've been seeing from Nigeria as well as Hollywood and every other wood.
I think, I mean, if I say it now, it's going to affect the recommendations later because there is a clear link between what I've seen over the past, let's say, few weeks and what I would like for other people to see. But if you insist, I shall tell you. Of course, as everybody knows, the movie of the moment, which funny came out, I don't know, 2 years ago, or is it early last year, is Afami Funa. I saw that very recently. Well, of course, when it showed up on Netflix, I missed it at the cinemas at the time. There's that, but I'm also going back. So there's this American film I missed from 2015, which funny seems to reflect on where we are now as a technologically advanced culture. It's called Ex Machina.
Oh, that.
And
I
it's
saw it twice.
okay, good. Yes. So yes, I also saw that Alex Gallant's film with Alicia Vikander, I think. Anyway, yes. So there's that. What else have I seen? Of course, like I said, because this is my first time for showing up here since Sundance, I saw a bunch of movies at the Sundance Film Festival, many of which, of course, are not yet out. Probably be out later this year, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, I don't know. So yeah, there were films there that I thought were quite interesting. There's a film called A Different Man, which I honestly think it will be very difficult for anybody here to see because I don't know it will come to a streaming platform. But maybe, I don't know, in a bit, maybe one day, you know. But that was an interesting film. Should I just mention? I mean, it feels a little wrong to mention films from Sundance because they are usually very weird and not super mainstream. So yeah,
Well, you
let's
still
see.
can go
I
ahead.
also hey, I know this guy. What's his name? The guy that played Lex Luthor in one of those in Zack Snyder's Batman movies. What's his name? Jesse Heisenberg. So he has he has a film called A Serious Pain. It won the best screenplay award at Sundance. And I think one day it will show up on the streaming platform, maybe Amazon Prime or something. So yes, anybody who likes like in quotes deep movies, there's a film called A Serious Pain coming out, I think later this year because it has been acquired already. So watch out for that. A Serious Pain.
Many times I don't like the fact that those that go to film festivals get to have the really good movies, especially the ones with a refreshing storyline and plots. And sometimes you have to
Um,
wait long before you finally see them, either on the streaming platform or in the cinemas. I don't know why.
I can tell you how to stop the problem. Go to the festival yourself. Go and apply. Go and apply. See if they will pay your tickets, or if you can't pay your ticket, pay your tickets and go to the festival. I can assure you that You see the films 2 years or a year before it shows up. So yes,
Oh boy.
that's my candid advice. I mean, look, think about it. I am yesterday. Oh, I don't know if we are talking about this, but yesterday the Cannes Film Festival, like I said, the big one showing up next month. They announced their list of films for the year, and there are so many big films on that thing that I think that looking forward to the Oscars in 2025. Some of them are going to be shown up at camp. So me, who is going, I'm just feeling like very, very excited. Like, oh, I'm going to see these films before Shion does.
Wow. You just had to, oh, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yes, yes, yes.
If only it were possible to go with a flash drive, or whatever it is, because many times you see people stream. I remembered something, I won't say it. You see people holding their phones, and sometimes when you see some web reap versions of some movies, you see that it's almost people holding their phones. But I just think that it will be good for the common man to access those movies that are shown
So,
at the cinemas
sorry,
because they're
man.
really
Nothing.
good.
I'm sorry for the common man, but yes, but the film festival ecosystem doesn't support the common man. Very it's sad, but it's very true. The problem is we should get our festivals here to see if they could work in partnership with some of these big festivals and maybe get some of their films to show up during our festivals. But of course, it's usually very expensive. So, for instance, the guy who won, what's her name? Emma Stone won Best Actress this year. She's in a film again by the same director,
Yeah.
Yorgos Lanthimos. In Poor Things, she won for Poor Things
Yes,
earlier this
poor
year.
things. Yes.
She's in a film called Kinds of Kindness, which is showing up, which is supposed to release, I think, later this year or early next year. And there's a very good chance that it will be up it will get a few nominations at the Oscars. But the very first time anybody's going to see it is going to be at Cannes Film Festival next month. So imagine something like that. So if you were a festival in Africa or in Nigeria thinking about like showing such a film, you know for a fact that you would need to pay a crazy amount of money to be able to get access to that kind of film to show up in Africa. You get so this is kind of the problem. There's an economic gap between what people can do here and what Europe or the US can do. Sad, but that's the way it works.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't even have any recommendation or any silver lining. There is no light. At least I can
No,
see
there,
the
no,
light at the end of the
there's none.
tunnel.
Except, of course, just be very rich enough to go and afford the ticket and hope they approve the application. That's really there's nothing else, frankly, nothing else.
Okay. Well, it looks like people on WhatsApp are more interested in your marriage giving you away than in the movies you're about to recommend. Because Charles Chidozie sent something and it's a meme. It says, run away from any bachelor that cooks moi moi. Marriage is not on his mind, though. What
Wow.
has that
Okay,
got
well,
to?
first good news. I do not cook more, so
That's if you cook at
thank
all.
goodness. Huh? I don't wait. Who said I don't know? That's not even fair. That's not even fair. Did you say I don't cook at all?
Okay, you can warm food. That's fair enough.
No, 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 no. So I would have. For this is not. I'm not the film, so I'm not on film focus. But I will say this: when it comes to cooking, I very much doubt that anybody named Oluwaseun, meaning she's from the Yoruba culture, can cook better than I can. The end.
Okay. Challenge. I don't know if it is accepted yet, but that is a challenge. And I'll take more of the messages. See, I said people are more interested in you getting your wife. And Tony,
I can't even it.
yeah, Nigerians love that. Tony says, Auntie Shenwa, have you sent your own CV? Because you match all the prerequisites of or are you gunning for a rabo? Our African sisters can sabi act films. Shoot the shot. You're eligible. My word. Wow. Wow. I did not see that
I'm very
coming.
happy. Yes, finally, let them attack the attacker because you've been taking shots all day. It's good.
Hmm.
It's true. Sheon, please, are you sending in an application? I will treat
Wilson
you
on
specially.
WhatsApp says, good morning, Madam Oluwaseun. Good morning, Mr. Rabo. It's not Irabo. You and Irabo don't even sound alike to me, but apparently you sound alike to a lot of people. And they said, trust you had a great Ramadan break. I did not have any break now, Wilson. You were listening to me all through the week. And Father said, back to work on a Friday. The holiday for just enter Friday. Make we resume on Monday. Look at you. Says, regards to Mr. Irabo. Is Irabo getting a wife? Hey. This is film focus. This is not white focus. People, please don't lose focus. Stay on the line. Eyes on the prize. Let's just stay on the line. Okay. let's get started with some of the ones. I think we can as well just delve. Ha, if you have been on
Let's
Twitter,
go, man.
let's delve into Afame Funa and let's talk about your take on it.
Um, I thought it was a very interesting film, mostly because of the subject. I'm not entirely sure that I've seen too many films that address the Igbo apprenticeship system. But again, it is not like that's the. It felt to me like they wanted to talk about that thing, but of course, wrap it in a more palatable. No, I don't know what is the word palatable, but provide a story around a theory, because I think the idea of the Igbo apprenticeship system is really a theory, but you can't just discuss it without making it look alive. So that's why you have the love triangle that's kind of retrofitted into the idea of the Igbo apprenticeship system. I think the first thing anybody can say about the film, the first very good thing about it is the performances. I think that across the board,
Yes.
everybody was pretty much, I thought, yeah, Alex was spectacular. I was like, okay, this man
That's
has it in
the
him.
best I have seen him.
Yeah. So I felt the same way. So like, okay, this guy actually has the chops. So it seems to me like we do not have terrible actors. Mostly, what we have are like directors who can't quite bring out those things from the actors, and maybe sometimes the stories as well. On the not so good side for me, was I feel like when we have stories that are specifically targeted at a system that they want to promote, sometimes they lose sight of the story itself. You want to promote the Igbo apprenticeship system using a love triangle story to kind of like tell that story of the system. But because, of course, it's an Igbo thing, so it becomes ethnic, it becomes like a theory as well. That combination sometimes can lead to not quite, let me put it this way, yes, inconsistent storytelling. So there's a particular scene I think I really felt not quite on board with. The bit where one of the boys in Odogu's shop, people who have seen the film, I'll try not to give up anything, but there's a particular scene where the master of the shop is told by one of his boys, by Afam himself, the titular character, that one of the other boys had put up I guess some more money on a particular item. So let's say the item was going to be sold for 3,000, he was selling for 7,000, and then the Odogu, which is the master, says, hey, that it was not a bad thing to do, and Afam kind of absorbs what he's told. And I feel like that thing is not quite right. In the way the story is told and the way Afam is presented, Afam would have, if not because of the idea of they didn't want anybody to challenge the theory, Afam would have really thought about that thing. That is it right for two people to go to the same store for the same item and get different prices? I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's supposed to be, I don't think it's ethical. But the Odogu made it look like it's ethical. And the story did not challenge that idea. Even if I thought like Afam would have naturally. They made Afam absorb the idea and say, hey, okay, that looks like a decent thing since the Odogu has explained it away. Now, the problem there is this, is that if they had Afam challenge it, it will look like Afam is challenging one of the basic tenets of the Igbo apprenticeship system. And the film couldn't quite have that happen because they needed the system to look like this 100% excellent system. But in real life, at least what I believe is that the system is a flawed system. And that particular bit of it isn't ethical. But the film was afraid to make these points. Anyway, this is just one of sometimes what happens when you have like for instance, when you have some of our artists who sing like patriotic songs. And when you compare the artistic value of the patriotic songs to the songs they sing about, I don't know, shaking bom bom, there's a big difference. The bom bom songs are just better, just more melodious, more catchy than the patriotic songs. If I asked you now if you can remember any song about Nigeria that has been very good, you probably would struggle, But if you ask about like a love song that was good, you probably would be able to name like 10. It's because these artists put in a lot more value in this particular one and not the other one. So the same kind of things happening in Afam Ifuna. And I had a big issue with that. Then also the way the central problem was resolved. I also have an issue with that particular bit. Like, okay, this person did something that's not quite right because we're trying to protect his family. But the film is also silent on that. So anyway, the philosophy of the movie, I find a little bit inconsistent. So that's really my issue with the film. But otherwise, it's a decent story, and I thought it was really interesting that it tackled something that we haven't seen a lot of in Hollywood.
Thank you for your take. And if you agree or disagree with Oris, you know the WhatsApp line is always open. WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. In addition to reviewing movies, we also give recommendations as well. And that will come later on in the course of the show. But stay with us because we have more lined up for you.
Yeah, Sean, can you tell me yourself, what do you think about the film?
Okay, so I think it was lovely. Definitely one of the first things that gets me is the delivery. The way everybody was so natural for a second or for a minute. In fact, I thought maybe the reason why these guys were able to deliver this much was because they were in their natural elements. They didn't need to
Good point.
maybe
Good point.
I think the language, I felt the language contributed to it. Plus, it was them. You know how you're able to ad lib. I want to even believe that at some point they would have gone up off script in
Off
some of
script,
the
right?
delivery because it was just so natural. They didn't have to think, they didn't have to be careful about the enunciation. It was just them. And I think that's one of the ways to go for us to do more in our natural elements, language and story. So it was them. So that was flawless for me. But
Yeah,
then,
well,
like
that's
you rightly mentioned,
good point.
yeah, I felt some inconsistencies as well. For instance, the part, it might not have been as deep as you said it, but the part where he was explaining the apirico, this is something that actually, I thought it was that chance they had to speak the truth, to say, hey, this is not who we are. For a system that has been picked up by the Harvard Business School, this is your chance to say, we're not about you inflating price. So that particular scene you mentioned, I'm saying this is the part for them to launder the image and say, hey, this thing you probably have come across before, this is not who we are. This is not the ideal. But that just went
But no, but
unnoticed.
that's the thing. But apparently, if they did say that, they'll be lying because it looks like it's part of the business culture. So that's why they couldn't do that.
But there could have been a better way to fit that in. Plus, I think it was even obvious. So you remember the part where Afame Funa sold something and then later told his what's his name, Paul, to keep some for the Oga. It was obvious that was a
Yes.
case of Apirico where he had inflated the
Yes,
price and he would have
exactly.
extra.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, whoa, okay, you are reinforcing it. But
Yep.
anyways,
Yeah. So that's the problem, though. They couldn't do otherwise because they felt like they were criticizing their culture, and they don't want to have that on TV or on the screen. That's really the problem with that, frankly.
I mean, on the one hand, it is reality, really. And on the other hand, I just felt it's that chance to educate people. You know what movies are
Yes,
supposed to do ideally. Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
All right, we're back. Love music, love light, love movies, and you are welcome to Film Focus on Smooth 98.1. You're very much on time. Not too much. You've missed out on 32 minutes of great talk and information. But don't worry, we still have more for you. Plus, you can join the YouTube stream, and that not only allows you to drop your comment using the live chat option, it also allows you to go back to the movie. No, not the movie, the stream later on, so that you can catch everything from the top to the bottom, if you know what I mean. So we just talked about Afame Funa, and Oris has given his thought on it. If you have watched the movie, you can tell us how you enjoyed it, or maybe you did not, or there was something you felt could have been improved on. For St. Fajo on WhatsApp, he said 100 over 100 for the movie. That is Afame Funa. And the WhatsApp
100
line
over
is
100. Wow. Okay.
0809 444 0981. I think we probably have said this many times, but the truth is the way people watch movies is not the way you will watch a movie. When I say people, I don't mean everybody. I'm sure you will probably watch it with some extra two critical eyes. You're looking at the cinematography, you're looking at the directing, you're
Yeah.
looking at the dialogue, the production. Some just
Yes.
watch the movie for the sake of feeling
No,
good.
no, no. But no, no. I always feel a need to like explain that it's not necessarily the case that I don't know, I have extra eyes or something to see the movies. It's
Definitely
just
you
really
do.
that
Use glasses.
it's just really that I see a lots of movies across cultures. And so let's just say that I'm watching a film from like a more, what's the word now? I don't want to say not critical. I just have a lot more that I'm watching movie from. So if I see a certain thing in a film, I probably have seen that thing 5 times. You have seen it once. That's our listeners probably have seen it once. So it doesn't register to them the way it registers to me. So I think that's the major difference. I just have a lot more in my, I don't know, in my brain or in my experience than the average person would. So it's not necessarily that, yes, I have extra eyes or any extra thing entirely. It's just like, okay, I see a lot more than they do. And so sometimes I have a lot more perspective. So that's really what it is, I think.
Okay. Potato, potato. That's fine. All right, let's come home and talk about some developments. Everybody, I want to assume a lot of people, let me not say everybody, especially the ones who are social media savvy, they would have seen the news, the sad news of Junior Pope's passing and the things that have come out as a result of it. In fact, yesterday, the director of the actors or the president, rather, the national president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, that is Emeka Rolas, he issued a statement on Thursday and said that Thursday was a no-shoot day as a result of the terrible boat mishap that happened in Anambra on Wednesday. And it was so sad because after that incident and the report of it, it looked like there was a glimmer of hope. And that glimmer of hope was quickly snuffed out, and he finally died. That's Junior Pope. And so they talked about how all locations should be suspended in honor of him. And it was such a dark humor that the title of the movie was The Other Side of Life. So they
Yeah.
also talked about how the producer, no one should work with the producer Adam Maluk until further notice. And since that time, a number of people, actors that is, have come out to speak about their experience, how budget cuts make or put their lives in danger, where they say, sorry, we cannot afford this or we cannot afford that due to the budget cuts, because that thing was pretty unsafe. I don't even know the whole story, and honestly, I just refrained from talking about it, but unfortunately, it's just an update. But what's your thought, Oris, on the whole
Um,
issue?
I felt that the statement from Emeka Rolas, the AGN, Oga Pata Pata, it was horrid in a way. I understand it, but I feel like he didn't need to ban everything on this account. But I felt he needed to do something to show that AGN cares about its members and what goes on subsequently. But I know that even within the industry currently, of course, I belong to a bunch of groups of Nollywood people. I know that people are pushing back against what that statement said. So I'm hoping that somewhere in this, they can find something that works for everybody involved. The lady herself, unfortunately, I'm not sure what she's waiting for, but I really think that by now she should tell us, or she should have put out a statement,
Issue the
I
statement,
don't know,
yes.
addressing something. Because yes, I said everybody who was supposed to be under production are under her care, or we're under her care. So now she needs to tell us, okay, what mistakes were made and what happens going forward. It's a shame that people have died from what now looks like a negligence. But I do not believe that staying silent is the absolutely fair way to go forward. As for the family of Junior Pope and the other people who passed, I hope they have the strength to bear what has to be like an incredible loss. And they do not even have the luxury of mourning in silence or mourning privately. It's become like a roadshow. Everybody has a point of view to share online. So private grief then becomes a public spectacle. I'm not sure that is ever good for a family. So I really worry. He has 3 kids. I don't know, a few years down the line, maybe would they see all of this? So it just feels a little bit unfair to them. But I think it's the world we live in now. He was famous, at least in his own, in the industry, people who consumed what he did. So maybe in a way, his life and his death belong to the people. But I really think that I wish there was a way in which the family could have afforded some kind of privacy at this particular time. It's a shame that that won't happen. And hopefully, going forward, Nollywood understands that even if your production values are supposedly low and you are working on a budget, safety has to be something you are thinking about from the very beginning of a shoot up until the end.
If you think that was terrible, I'll rate you this. So turns out that the village where this thing happened, I don't know if you saw the news, but they demanded for the body of Junior Pope and the people who
Yes,
died
to be buried. Yes.
in the river or beside the river for the sake of culture or whatever gods it is that they have, not to be angry. And I'm thinking in 2024.
Yeah, but sometimes we forget. We live in Lagos. We travel here, we travel there. We forget that we do not live in the most, I don't know what the word is, technologically advanced country in the world. We do not live in the most educated country in the world. Certain parts of this country still have culture, still have ideas that are rooted in, I don't know, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years in the past. So it's very difficult to expect people with that kind of culture to let it go. They did say that according to the culture of that particular land, if you die by the river and the people are not buried by the river, the families of the people will, I don't know, have a curse. Look, I'm not one to judge anybody's culture, to be honest, I just only hope that between the families of the people who have passed and the village, some kind of arrangement can be made. I never really think that my beliefs are like superior to another person's beliefs. But I would say yes, the same thing too for these families. I think the people who might want the bodies of their lost ones back so that they could bury them in their own places. And the river, whatever, the riverine people also have their own beliefs. I just hope that somewhere between those two things, something that works for both parties is possible. Because yes, I do not think that you want to change certain things in 2024. If they've been doing this thing for like, I don't know, 100 years, it is super difficult to expect them to alter that on the account of a famous person in 2024. I really don't think that is super reasonable. So I honestly hope that there's a place for dialogue. That's what I would say. You look like you're very like, don't take the boat and go and bury them somewhere. You look like you do not care. But you should care. I think you should care.
Oh, I have no say in this. Like you mentioned, hopefully the gods come to the negotiation table for them to reach a middle ground on this one, because it will be unfair to the family who definitely didn't even see this coming. Nobody could have seen this coming, for them not to have the body of their loved one.
But wait, She'll think about it. Would you, I mean, if you hear this thing as a person whose loved one has passed, and you hear that, hey, you can bury this person in your side, but if you do that, you are going to risk, I don't know, years or generations of a curse. I feel like the way we are as Nigerians,
like who's placing the curse?
The
God in the river?
Yes.
Where was that God when the
riverine
and the
gods or
people were
whatever.
drowning? Where was that God?
If you listen to some of the things that were said, the guy who survived, for instance, said that before he went on the trip, he, technically speaking, appeased the gods, and he survived. So I'm not sure. I don't know if that is why he survived, but my point is you cannot discount somebody's beliefs if it is a long-held belief. You cannot discount it on a single incident. So if you ask me where the gods were, maybe the gods didn't care about the people who passed. However, the gods have their own particular beliefs about certain things, and so maybe, just maybe, they should be respected. I'm not saying they should be, but I can understand the feeling behind the people who live in that village, saying that, no, this is what we do, and you kind of might need to like stand by it or like work with us. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I understand your point. At the end of the day, everyone will live or die by what they believe in, so it's okay. You're listening to Film Focus on Smooth 98.1, and we will be right back. Stay with us.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yep.
Hey, so Sean, are you a Christian? You know what the Bible says about, I think it was actually Jesus that said it in the Bible. Give what belongs to Caesar, to Caesar. Sometimes just let certain
The
things
body
go.
does not
But
belong
I
to
mean, I'm not saying that they should do that now. I'm just saying that I can understand if the family decides, instead of insisting on bearing their own, decides to talk with.
Right? Sorry to interrupt. So this is it. At the end of the day, the body really is the body. I don't have so much attachment, but I have a problem with the fear factor there. The fact that the negotiating, I don't know, power is
Parties,
if you don't do
yes.
this, there will be a curse. What kind of curse? Who's placing the curse?
But no, no, but Sean, as a culture, in Nigeria, I think we believe in curses.
I don't. We have to go back.
Into Smooth 98.1 for intelligent talk, music that puts you.
Welcome. If it's your first time right here on the station that loves music and loves life, this is Film Focus. We talk about movies, we talk about series, animation, and everything really every Friday from 11 till 11:55. You're welcome to join the conversation, especially if you've been listening. Like Chidozie, who says, I've seen the Afamefuna movie. Afamefuna, I believe. The story does not tell the true reality of the Igbo apprenticeship system. It's a system I was born into. I know what's obtainable in that culture. That movie didn't do any justice to it. I'm saying this not from the eyes of a movie critic, but just from an observer. The story and directing didn't cut it for me. Infusing the love story was just an attempt to spice it up. I bet you the Igbo apprenticeship system has been populated as far back as the 70s. I stand with Oris on this one. Okay.
Wow, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of people on social media say it was a very excellent, I don't know, depiction of the system. So this comes as a bit of a shock, or maybe there are different versions of the system in different places. Because I have seen people who were saying that the film did an excellent job in describing what goes down with the apprenticeship system. So I don't know.
Now the curious question is, the people who said it is an excellent depiction of it, did they have an experience of the system, or is just based on the stories they've been told? Because according to Charles, he was born into it. And
so
go ahead.
I get that. All I would say is that for people who weren't, I guess, born or who didn't partake of it, I'm not sure that there's a single Igbo family that doesn't have an extended member at the least who was involved in this thing. So it's difficult for you to say that. I'm not sure that it's possible to have an Igbo person of a particular age who doesn't have some kind of peripheral idea, at least, of what the system is about. So I wouldn't know. I don't know the guys on Twitter. I just saw a bunch of tweets hailing the film, so I wouldn't really know. But I take Chelsea's point. If he says this isn't it, I really wish somebody would come and write a piece, for instance, and telling us, you know what, this is where they were wrong and this is where they were right.
Yep. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that comes out soon enough. Now, a refreshing movie, which goes back to that thing we said about film festivals and you having the great movies there. I came across a movie, though it's been released since last year, but it was one of those movies released in the festival. I only just saw the trailer, The Lead Arc. It's funny. It's unlike the usual Nollywood Bollywood collaboration we've seen. And
which one? The popular one, Namaste Wahala or something from 3 years ago.
We've had another asides Namaste Wahala that is similar to that. Yeah, I can't remember now. Yeah, but we've had another. I'll try and see if I can pull it up. But I think you saw the trailer, or have you seen the lead arc?
I have seen the trailer of the film, of the lead arc. Yes, I have.
What do you think?
Oh, I am really looking. I mean, I don't know how or where we'll see it because I didn't see that anywhere. So I'm hoping that it's possible to see the film at some point. because to me it really looks very, very, very interesting. Of course, it's not a Bollywood. Let's all put it this way: it's an Indian story about a Nigerian. I didn't see I didn't see too much of it that would make it qualify as a Bollywood film. Nobody was really dancing and, I don't know,
Oh no,
shaking.
Bollywood is evolving beyond that
No, now wait
now.
now. No, now. But dancing and singing and love, whatever, is these are like a huge part of what we consider mainstream Bollywood. I didn't see any of that. So for me, it's an Indian film that is, well, decently well made. When I was in, oh, so good point. Actually, thanks for bringing it up, because I just remembered something. One of the
Okay.
films that won one of the awards at Sundance in January was a film from India, actually. And when the lady stepped up to the podium to accept her award, she said that when she was trying to make the film, there were people she met, I think investors in the industry in India, who were telling her that, oh, maybe add a dance here, just add the usual Bollywood features into your film so that you can probably get certain things to be easier. But she did it and she insisted. Even if of course the film has one or two maybe dance or music stuff, but it is definitely not a Bollywood film, you get? And so she was trying to tell the audience right during the award ceremony that stick to what you believe in, even if it seems like it's against what your culture mostly promotes. And there's a very good chance that you might be able to find people who will support you. So I'm saying that because, yes, Dili Dark is not a typical Bollywood film, but it's an Indian film. And it is no less Indian because it's not Bollywood. So this lady who succeeded in Sundance, and of course, which means that she won at Sundance, which means that she has gotten into a certain space that very, very few people anywhere in the world ever really get access to. So if this person who has done this film as well has stuck to his guns, there's no need for us to think about it as Bollywood. Probably, of course, he's definitely aware of the dominant film culture in his country, but he decided to do something different and put a Nigerian at the center of the story. So I personally, since I've consumed a lot of stories about Nigerians suffering or whatever it is they are, and the racism they suffer in India, I am very much looking forward to like finding an opportunity to actually to see the film whenever it does show up in my, I don't know, in my purview.
Yeah. Or like you said, you'd have to buy a ticket to every festival so that you can watch all of these,
If
including
only I
Delete
know the
Dark.
person is showing up in, or it has showed up in, maybe it will be easier, but I don't know which one actually.
But actually, this is something I would love to see. So, in case you're wondering what is this Dark about, first you need to go and check it online. It is DILLDARK. So it tells the story of a Nigerian whose name in that movie was Michael Okeke, a student living in New Delhi who wants to get his MBA, settles in India, but then because he needs to fend for himself and he needs to make ends meet, his part-time job involves living a dubious double life, including selling drugs and stuff like that, so that he can make ends meet and go to school as well. And it's quite interesting. You can call it a drama and a comedy, so make it a dramedy, but it's refreshing, different from what you have seen in recent times. And one that is currently hot in the cinema is Ajoshepo. Have you seen it?
I haven't, to be honest. I didn't even hear about it. I just know that there's a bunch of, I don't know what's happening to, well, probably a good thing, but over the past few years, maybe 2 or 3 years now, there's been like an increased focus from Nollywood on, in quotes, indigenous Yoruba stories coming to the big screen. For a long time, it was the case that the lower budget movies were mostly, I mean, Yoruba movies were probably looked down upon, and all of them probably went to YouTube, or they were on DVDs, or they were on African Magic or something. But it looks like increasingly they are going to the streamers, they are coming to the big screen. So I guess good thing, but yeah, I haven't seen it, to be honest. It didn't even cross my purview at all. I didn't even see anything about
Interesting.
this film. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Who's
there was
is there anybody big in it?
Oh, there were a lot of big people in there. Well, so I think this is the first time that Tomike Adeoye plays the lead character. So she is the wife. So it was a case of, I'll tell you the plot. So both of them, that's Tomike Adeoye and Mike Afolari, I believe you know him. So both of them
I do,
were
I do.
getting married. And in preparation for their wedding, you know what happens in a typical Nigerian wedding when they're preparing? Something must go wrong. And in this case, it was a full it was a full-blown drama. Drama not in terms of food or drinks, drama in the sense that there have been old flames. So imagine both sides coming together, and there is even a case of love charm. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a spoiler. They needed to have one quick last fling. And because of what was placed on who, there was a sticking together. So their genitals
Enough,
fused.
enough. I think this is, I mean, I will definitely see it. And actually, it is directed by Kayode Kasum, who has, I
Yeah.
mean, he has enjoyed a lot of Nollywood success. And written by one of my favorite writers in Nollywood, who's also a director, Dario Lighton, who did Ojukokoro, I don't know,
Yeah.
5 or 6 years
Yes,
ago.
actually. Yes.
So, so that's, yeah. In fact, I didn't know this, but now that I know this, maybe at the next edition of Film Focus, we should talk about it because I have definitely will see it because I like Dario a lot. I think Dario writes really, really well.
So as for the big names in that movie, you would see Timini Egbuson, you will see Deyemi Okonlawon, you will see
Deyemi is in every
Bisola
film.
Ayola. I remember one time somebody on Twitter said, Deyemi, are you owing a microfinance bank or did you borrow money from a loan shark? What are you trying to do? You're working overtime. We can raise fund. We can crowd fund for
And
you.
he did his own film like a few
All
weeks
is
ago. I
very
think it's also in
love.
the cinemas. Yes, exactly. So the man is really, really, maybe he has kids. He has to go and pay school fees because
He just had a baby this year, I believe. The man has to pay his
exactly.
bills.
So I guess this is why the man is just like doing. But this also means something. That it means that increasingly Nollywood's folks are paying attention to a lot of indigenous stories. So we have a Funa, which is mostly in Igbo, and I have a bunch of movies that are mostly in Yoruba. So let's wait for the guys who do the Hausa version. Huh?
Yeah. And speaking about Elsa, I think one person I would like to see more of is Uzi Usman on the screen. Okay.
Yes.
So guess what, Oris? We have many more to touch on, but we have come to the end of the show.
What happened here? It is Cheryl, it is your fault. It is you and the viewers who are interested in my love life. You are the ones that caused this stuff.
Let me quickly take some messages. Maestro said, Kayode Kasum is just a prolific, brilliant director. I've worked with him on a couple. Most def seeing it this week. Okay. Actually, we probably should talk more about that next week when we have our special guest. I will not let the cat out of the bag yet. Then St. Fajo says, DME is really cool. Hausa, we are here. Okay, give us movie recommendation in Hausa now. And then, Charles, I saw your message. Unfortunately, I will not read it out because it can be a little bit incisive because of some of the things. Yes, I understand. So it was in reference to the whole burial beside the sea, beside the water, but it might rub off some people the wrong way. So I'm sorry, Charles, I'll not read that out. Cisco Delgado says, Chai, I missed this film show with Oris. Guess what? It's on YouTube. You can go back to YouTube to check it. youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Okay, Oris, please quickly give us recommendation for the weekend.
Oh yeah, I think for people who missed what I said earlier, this is the chance. So
no.
For Nigeria, I think you say Afam Ifuna. Now that I know because I really like the guy. I just say for. Then outside of what?
I lost your audio for a bit. Rewind and play.
Okay, yeah. So no, I was saying I think everybody should try and see Afam Ifuna. It's on Netflix anyway, so it's easy to see. Go to the cinema, see Ajosheko. I didn't realize that it was Dario Lighton, who might be one of the very good writers and directors from Nollywood. So see those two films if you are inclined towards Nigerian films. Then foreign, also on Netflix, there's a film called
Hey, no.
Ex Machina, which I mentioned earlier at the start of the show. You see the film. I think it's super. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I'll say those three: Ajosheko, Afam Ifuna, and Ex Machina. Yeah.
There were a number of movies in the cinema, both Nigerian. He's mentioned it from Afame Funa to Ajosheko to Ex Machina. I think there is also Civil War. There is First Omen. If you're a lover of horror, you'd find it in the cinemas. And
yes.
I'm trying to remember one that comes to mind now, but I can't remember it. Maybe next week we'll talk about it. I was going to talk about Gru. Gru is who is supposed to fend off his attackers, but doesn't have any weapon except baby diapers. We'll talk about that. Despicable Me 4 next week. And then John Wick presents Ballerina. Oh, Oris, you were not here last week. We talk about a new Matrix. And I mentioned that.
Yes, I heard it.
What? I said that was what you said. I remember vividly what you said about Fast and Furious, that we are probably going to be working with crutches by the time those people are done with us. So I don't understand why we're going to have another Matrix, but today is not the day. We'll talk about that next week and more. Thank you for being a part of the show. It was a pleasure. You can catch the repeat on YouTube. That is youtube.com/smooth91 FM Lagos. And I'll be with you on Casbah from 12 p.m. playing you the African music. Bye. Oh, I should have given out your social media handle for them to send their CV.
They'll send it to Smooth FM. Thank you very much. You can forward it to me. Anyway, I have to go. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.